Welcome back. This is still Signature Morning on Signature TV. Many thanks for still being here with us. Right now on the segment, we have a professor of media studies from Union College, New Jersey, United States of America. In the person of Professor Uchenna Ekwo. Prof, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
We are actually delighted to have you here today, and talking media, and the fact that we are said to be practicing democracy. How do you relate what we're practicing, with in relation? I mean, media, right? How do you relate how media is being exposed, especially in this part of the world, to the democracy that we're said to be practicing? Are we really practicing?
Thank you so much. Let me start by telling you one of the reasons why I'm even in the country is there's an impactful research that I'm conducting in Nigeria that relates to how local news or local journalism can power Africa's democracy.
Okay.
What I'm discovering is so shocking and revealing to me. Like, I'm a Nigerian, obviously. I operated here during the military regime, so I'm more familiar with the environment then. Those used to cry foul that the military government was so oppressive and all that. We fought a lot of battles with the military. But what I'm understanding right now is so revealing and unfortunate that even the current democratic dispensation that should have more liberal approach to journalism is even worse than the military.
Yes.
So that's one of the things that is shocking me right now. So to that extent, we're not practicing democracy. So these guys are just probably people who don't have uniforms, but they're there behaving as military guys. So in my assessment, the media is not as free as I expect it to be in a democratic setting. And the reality of the situation is, I've said in many places, journalists are the midwives of democracy. And in a situation where the midwives are not allowed to do their job, is that like in the hospital, right? So when a midwife does not help to deliver a baby, there's crisis.
Yes.
That's what is happening in Nigeria today. So it's concerning to me as a practitioner and a scholar practitioner for that matter.
When we came back from the voice on the street that we had, we saw a man who was saying you can't even feed well. So the question now is not even, I'm still on democracy. It's not about feeding well. It's about feeding at all. And like you rightly said, I remember some years ago when some media houses actually televised what they saw happening in the country. And they were put on lockdown because they were saying the truth. How do you relate the government itself, because media, like you said, are the midwives of democracy. Now they are not being allowed to express themselves. Now sometimes we are to say some things, like see the situation in Kenya. And I want to relate with a country like Russia. There are some news you can't actually televise in Russia. But Russia is said they're not actually practicing democracy. And relating it with Nigeria, that is saying that we're practicing democracy, how far can this go? What method should the media employ to help drive democracy?
Well, the basic answer to your question is multifaceted, but the thing also is that truth, because journalism is not about truth-telling, right? So, and if for some reason, like one of my respondents in my research so far mentioned to me, that in a situation where the process that led to the emergence of the so-called democracy we have now, the process somehow is faulted in the sense that most people who are occupying several seats did not just win that election fair and square. In other words, the voices of people were drowned. Yes. Because the vote translates to the voices of citizens.
Yes.
So when the mandate is not actually a reflection of what people want, then essentially that democracy is truncated, and the media will be in a big problem. Because the media is the last defense of the ordinary folks. So we continue to advocate for those voices that have been drowned in the electoral process. And it's a cycle. And relating it to even the hunger you talked about, I also learned a phrase in this trip, what they call stomach infrastructure. I've not heard about it. So some reporters told me that they kind of, fall in line, as it were, because they have to pay their bills. They have to send their kids to school. They know that what they're doing is unethical. Some of them even engage in what we call self-censorship, even without the